Hi, this is Kavita Suresh Kumar, and in this video I am going to demonstrate how to create a simple queue service queue in AWS and send message to that queue and receive message from that queue, and finally delete the simple queue service queue using AWS console. I have logged into my AWS account. In the search, type SQS, then click simple queue service, click create queue. So you'll be able to either create a standard queue or a first in first out queue. So if you create a standard queue, so it is going to be delivered at least once and the message ordering is not preserved. And if you want to really have a proper messaging ordering, then you can go for the first in first out queue. In case of the first in first out queue, the message will be processed exactly once, right? And you need to note down this disclaimer which clearly says after creating a queue you won't be able to change from standard to FIFO or FIFO to standard, right? Then we need to give a name for the queue. I am going to call it as a demo queue. Now let us review the other configurations, right? So the first is the visibility timeout, right? More than one applications will be able to retrieve the message from a specific queue. But if a particular application has retrieved the message and it is processing it, that message will not be visible to the other applications based on this visibility timeout, which means for 30 seconds this message will not be visible to the other applications, and the value it can be between 0 seconds and the 12 hours, right? And the next one is the delivery delay, right? So when you are sending the message but you want the message to be available for processing after a certain time, you can set this delivery delay. So this should be between 0 seconds and 15 minutes. And then the receive message wait time, right? So if you are having a long polling, right, so and you are polling for a message and the message is not available, so that particular thread will be hold for this many number of seconds. So it should be 0 and 20 seconds. So if it is for 20 seconds, it will hold it, and if any new message comes, it will pass on that message to that particular thread. And then the message retention period, how long do we wanted to hold this message in that queue, right? So this is the message retention period. So and then the maximum message size, so it's going to be between the 1 KB and 256. And so if your message size is huge, so you'll be able to have that message in your S3 bucket, and then you can provide a link here. So that is also supported. So that information you'll be able to find it here. You click that info and it gives that information. So actually here it says should be between 1 KB, but the smallest supported message size is 1 byte. Okay, so I'm going to leave everything as a default because this is just for a demo, right? And then the encryption by default it is enabled, and it is going to use the Amazon SQS queue, or if you have a key management service key, and that also you'll be able to use it. Then the access policy, this is going to help you define who can access this queue. So you can select the method as basic or the advanced. So in case of advanced, you'll be obviously able to create a JSON policy, and then you'll be able to use it. So in case of basic, so if you see here, by default only the queue owner will be able to send the message, as well as only the queue owner can receive the messages from the queue. For the demo purpose, I'm going to leave them as a default. But in case if you are having some other application which is running in a different account, or if you wanted to give access to a different IAM users and roles, you'll be able to select that and provide that information here. So I'm going to leave it as default, right? And then there is something called as a redrive allow policy. This is basically, it is in case if you are defining this queue as a dead letter queue, so it is going to tell you, right, so from which all the sources can use this as a dead letter queue. You can allow all the queue in this particular account to use this as a dead letter queue, or a specific queue can allow send messages to this queue as a dead letter queue, or you deny to all, right? I'm going to leave it in the default, which is disabled. then similarly the dead letter queue. So in case of for example, right, so this is the queue what we have defined, and the message was not able to process even after a certain number of retries. So in that case we don't want to keep that message in the same queue, so you can define a dead letter queue, and you can move that message to the dead letter queue and set some alert in that queue so that you'll get notified that there is an unprocessed message in the dead letter queue. And then if you wanted to add any tags, you'll be able to add that. Okay, click create queue. Now the queue has been created, and you'll be able to see under the details section information about like name of the queue, what type of queue it is, and what is the ARN of the queue, and what is the encryption, and what is the URL to access this queue, and if any dead letter queue is defined. So you'll be able to find more information on the other configuration properties also, what is the maximum message size, what is the retention period, and all those information you'll be able to see it here, right? And here you can see, right, you have an option to subscribe to an Amazon SNS topic, and you will be able to configure a Lambda function trigger also. And if it is any dead letter queue information, all these things you'll be able to see here. So once we have messages, you will be able to see that information related to the monitoring, approximate age of the oldest messages, all these things you'll be able to see under here, right? And then if you have added any tag, that information you can see here, and what is access policy, that you'll be able to see here, right? And what is an encryption, right? And if you want to do edit, you'll be able to do it. And if there is any letter retrieve task you have defined, that also you'll be able to see here, right? And also here you can see that you have an option to edit, so you won't be able to change the queue type, but you'll be able to edit and change the other parameters. Okay, and then you have an option for delete, so using this only will be at the end delete this queue. And there is an option for purge, which means in case of this queue it has 10 messages and you want to delete all the 10 messages, you'll be able to do the purge. Okay, so now let us use that feature of send and receive messages in the console to send a message and receive that message. Click send, right? I'm going to send a simple test message. Okay, so if you wanted to modify your delivery delay, that also you'll be able to do it here. And if you wanted to add any specific attributes to this message, that also you'll be able to do it. I'm going to send the message. Click send message. So the message has been sent and it is ready to be received. So if you click view details, you'll be able to see the message ID and the MD5 of the message body, and if at all if there is any message attributes. Click done, right? So here you have an option to receive messages, so you'll be able to poll for the messages and receive it, right? So the polling duration is 30 seconds and the maximum message count is like I'm wanted to poll messages one by one, right? So you'll be able to edit the poll settings and change the maximum message count as well. Okay, so before receiving the message, let us send few more messages. 2, send message. 3, send message. 4, send message. So we have sent 5 messages. So you can see the messages available is 5. Okay, so now if I click poll for messages, it is going to get 1 message. Let me click this and you can see it is the test message too. So we have created a standard queue, so there is no message ordering. Okay, so now again if I click poll for messages, right, I got a message. So this is the first message, right? Again if I click for poll for messages, this time I have got the third message, right? So in this way you will be able to receive all the messages, but here you can see the receive count is 2, so which means the same message is getting retrieved again, right? So if when you're doing with an application, you will be able to say like, okay, I have processed this message, so you delete the message from the queue. So you can do the same thing from the console as well. You have an option to delete. So let us see first what messages is. This is the first message, that is a test message 2 which we got first. So I'm going to select this and click delete. Click delete. So now you can see the messages available has become 4, right? So if I retrieve, I won't get the test message 2. Okay, so now we have seen how to create a standard SQS queue, and then how to send a message and how to receive the message using the console. So now let us review the purge functionality as well. Click purge, right? So we need to type purge, right? So it clearly says this queue contains 4 messages. So when you purge it, all the 4 messages will be permanently deleted. Click purge, right? So now go to the queues, and you can see the demo queue, the message available is 0, right? So and you can select this and you'll be able to delete the queue. Click delete, and it asks you to confirm. So let's confirm, then click delete. So the demo queue what we have created has been successfully deleted. In this demo, we have seen how to create a simple queue service queue, and then send a message to the queue and retrieve the message from the queue, and then finally delete the queue. If you like this demo, please do like, share and subscribe. Thanks for watching the demo.